I with my own business and being in
live.
SAG. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about this for an hour now.
Yeah.
Well, hi there, everybody, and happy frickin' Friday. It's been a long week. You've earned some chill time, or maybe it's been a boring week. You've earned some chill time. Whatever it is, you've earned some Star Trek and chill. So happy Friday, everybody. There's actually a lot to talk about today. This isn't like the biggest news kind of show, but there's so much news, it's unavoidable, especially what's going on at Comic-Con right now. San Diego Comic-Con has just announced a huge deal that's like an homage to Star Trek, the animated series. What are they calling it? The animated celebration. And I want to ask, we've got some experts here, JJ and Andre. I've got a question for you guys. Hopefully you will be able to answer. And there's strike talk. I don't know how much I can talk about it, but whatever. Anyway, we're going to get into all that kind of stuff. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk. We're going to have some beverages. Everybody, can you believe it? The JJ Lendl is here, everybody.
Hi, everyone. It's me.
You might know him from such things as JJ Lendl.
True. The first thing that I ever appeared in, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, everybody at home, if you saw Kate Mulgrew's tweet about not being able to go to Star Trek Las Vegas, she featured some JJ Lendl art. He is so good that all the Star Trek actors in the world love his stuff.
Love it.
Pretty much. Look, we've also got somebody wearing a Ritos shirt. He has played the saxophone in the Tim Russ band. Did you know that? He's also a graphic artist. He does all kinds of cool stuff. He's out living in Las Vegas right now. Beautiful. He has a rule of not leaving his house from May to November, living in Las Vegas. It's Andre Kottman, everybody.
Hello. Good to be here.
Nice.
Look, Melissa Longo is wearing my favorite shirt ever, and she is freaking here, by the way. It's the Stem Bolton Chill. Oh, that is a JJ Lendl creation, everybody. Look at this. Look at how wonderful those two guys look.
Perfect model.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Thanks.
And my name is Ryan T. Husk. I'm also wearing something JJ Lendl made. Look at this. There's nothing cooler than it's a Jake.
It's amazing.
It's a Jake. Look at how that's him. He's waving at
I
you.
love
He's
it.
like, it's me. It is me. Here I am. So everybody at home, if you would like your very own It's a Jake shirt or your very own glorious Stem Bolton Chill, look at those two cuties. You can get those at the link in the description box below. You'll see the Star Trek and Chill Shopify link. Click on that. Get yourself some of these goodies. Get it for some loved ones or some people that you want to be loved ones. It's great bribery as well. Definitely get those right now. If you use promo code STLV, you'll get a gigantic discount, but only until the end of the night. So get it right now, a gigantic discount. Promo code STLV. That's it. That's enough.
I was going to say something inappropriate when you said, look at those two cuties. I was going to say, he meant Jake and Nog.
I'll take the compliment too.
Yeah. What's funny was that right when you did that, the camera actually went off of you and onto like JJ or Andre. So nobody actually saw what you did. It was so funny. It just totally went off. But I guess they can guess what you did, what vulgarities you signaled.
All I did was point to Jake and Nog.
Oh.
Because that's what you meant. Those two cuties.
Oh, man.
That is what I meant. Because they are. And JJ did such a fantastic job capturing not just their likenesses, but their mannerisms. That's what I really love about their shirt. Like Jake's doing like this thing and Nog's going, ah!
I had a lot of fun looking at reference images trying to put that design together because those two, they just really click on screen and they have such great scenes together, especially when they're hanging off of the railings there.
Yeah.
So everybody at home, let us know right now before we get into all the chatter boxing. Let us know, what are you drinking today? It's a hot day. No matter where you are, it's a freaking hot day. Don't deny it. What are you drinking? What do you got for us, Andre? What are you drinking?
This is a homemade coffee concoction with nice whipped milk at the top and some rum in it. And I waited for this call to mix everything together. Yes.
Wow.
Nice and cool.
That looks professional. That looks
Yeah.
good.
Well,
It's like
thank
it's like a Sumerian sunset, but it's like an Armis sunset, you know?
you. I
Trademark.
was out of prune juice, so I replicated something else today.
Wow, that looks amazing.
Mm.
One Trek fan in the live chat says, I have a Stembleton chill shirt. I cannot freaking wait to see you in that
Yes.
in a couple weeks at Star Trek Las Vegas. Look, everybody, JJ Lendl, what are you drinking? You got
I'm being
crazy?
really bad tonight because I usually drink tea, and we had the 2-year-old. We had kind of a hectic end of the day, and so we ended up getting some Taco Bell for dinner. And I
Nice.
have this big old Mountain Dew here. I don't usually indulge in this stuff. Like, I'm a pretty straight-laced guy, but I'm gonna be up late tonight. So just to
You
warn
know what
everyone.
that looks like? That looks like when you see something like that on the side, on like the curb, like next to a
Yes.
street, and you're like,
is that Mountain
Is that
Dew, or
Mountain
did that
Dew?
used to be Mountain Dew?
the worst is when it's like in an actual empty water bottle. That's like a water bottle, and it's like half full
Oh.
yellow. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, there's no way, unless somebody poured in an emergency packet but only drank half.
Yeah,
That's,
Ugh,
and I know
that's
that
warm.
should make this a lot less appetizing, but
gross.
I'm good.
it's still good.
Still good. Nice and cool.
Melissa Longo, you've been pretty creative lately with your beverages. What do you got going on today?
Well, this might be creative. This is a blueberry lemonade.
Ooh.
Oh,
It's
I was sure that was a
delicious.
candle at first. When you
I know.
I'm drinking candle wax tonight.
I'm drinking candle wax. Ooh, it burns going down.
Gluten-free.
Creative. Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, that reminds
Yum.
me. Did somebody say candle? Because we do have
Mhm.
candles. Let's click on that right now so people can enjoy those. Check this out. At the Star Trek and Chill website, not only can you get these awesome, beautiful, wonderful shirts, baseball shirts, we've got the Decor Majors, we've got the Bozeman Phoenixes, we've got the Ferengi family and the Cisco family shirts. It's a Jake. That's a fun color. By the way, all these, you can get them in a multitude of colors. So if you don't like gray or blue or red or yellow or green, you can have baby poop brown or whatever this is. But I thought
Orange.
I love that color. I think it's beautiful, you know, or you can
burnt
get family
orange.
in like this light plum color. But anyway, candle, look how cute these are. What the heck? These are that's a fun color too.
Look at those
Um,
cuties.
This one. Look at those two cuties. But anyway, the point is you can get your very own Risa and Chill
So cute.
candle.
That's amazing.
And there's also a Neelix and Chill candle.
Mhm.
So anyway, you could get those. And remember, if you type in tonight, STLV for the promo code, you will get 30% off, which is basically giving it to you at cost. Basically.
And is the Neelix candle, is that Neelix foot scented? Or were you not able to?
Well, it's corn scented.
Okay, so yes, then yes.
We won't
okay,
tell
got
you
it.
which kind of corn,
Ooh.
whether
Corn
it's
chips.
the foot item, the vegetable, or the band.
There you go.
The band smells like Bakersfield, 'cause that's where they're
Mm.
from. Nobody
candle.
wants that smell.
They
Uh,
don't.
Well, I'll tell you all what I'm drinking because I'm actually super parched. So I've been wanting to drink this for the last 10 minutes, but I've been waiting. So everybody knows for the 8 weeks preceding Star Trek Las Vegas, I've been trying a different flavor of White Claw so that we
Nice.
know which kind of White Claws to get for Star Trek Las Vegas, if we even get any at all. Dr. Anne Marie is convinced we're going to get a bunch of White Claw. I don't even really know if we are. But if we do, the next one to try here is tangerine. And the last one next week is going to be watermelon. So this is number 7 of 8. Ooh, that almost worked.
Almost set. Yeah.
Not nearly as good as I expected.
Wow.
I thought it was going to be really good
Wow.
because tangerine's usually a really good
Sounds really
flavor.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it tastes like, kind of tastes grapefruity, but
Oh.
grapefruit LaCroix usually tastes good. But this just, maybe this is Bakersfield. I mean, it's okay, but
Maybe this-
probably not going to win.
Maybe
Anyway,
they don't have a ginger beer flavor, Ryan. I love the ginger beer tasting series. Love to bring that back.
I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
I
yes.
love that idea.
Ryan is quite the connoisseur of ginger beers for all who do not know.
Wow.
Mhm. Well, Andre kind of got me into it. The way it started was back when I was working in restaurants, schlepping iced teas and pot pies to blue hairs. I was not the cool kind of blue hair either. I remember the bartender was like making, I think it was mojitos, right? And there was just like a little bit left after he poured the can in there. And I was like, oh, ginger beer, what is that? And he's like, oh, you want to try it here? You can have what's
Delicious.
left in here.
So good.
And I was like, what?
So
Why
good.
has this been kept from me my whole life? And then when we had a party at my house several years later, Andre comes over with a couple, packs of ginger beer, and I was like,
Yes.
they sell these?
Yes, they do.
And since then, we actually had a ginger beer tasting party where we just brought in a bunch of different ginger beers and got like sugar high.
Yeah,
Kind of-
see,
Wow.
you need to do that again, but invite me
Yes.
this time because I wasn't at that one.
And a root beer tasting party.
Oh yes.
But I didn't
that
realize
too.
there's tons of sugar because after like the
Oh,
second
yeah.
one, it's kind of like, I don't know if I want to drink a third ginger beer. This is making me sweat.
It's diabetes in a can, but it's so worth it.
Did you have a swish and spit like with wine?
Nice, wholesome fun.
Fancy,
Your
yes.
bucket.
All right. So we're going to get into the big news of the day, everybody. But before we do that, very quickly, make sure, please, you like this video. That's very important. Please make sure you are subscribed to this channel. That is also very helpful and important. Look at these hearts. These guys are so cool. Oh,
I wanna
after
do it too.
After you hit subscribe, also click the little bell icon next to the subscribe button. And that way you can get notifications when we go live so that you don't always have to like remind yourself or go, oh, I wish I had
Yeah.
known. You can get a little notification that says, hey, these guys are going live right now.
And JJ can make a bell with this.
I can make a bell. I have a
Yeah.
2-year-old, so I make lots of shapes all day.
That was almost a Star Trek insignia for a second there too.
Oh, that's a heart. Wait, I'm not as good at the
That's
bell.
just
Mine
coffee.
came out as a Starfleet
Doing
symbol.
Yeah.
That's Zorro.
That's Zora. That's Batman.
So where'd he go? I lost. Oh, Rico E. Anderson says a candle
Rico.
wax cocktail. Chris Marshall says I'm drinking coffee and occasionally some Dayquil.
Okay.
Oh, feel better.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not good. Coffee and Dayquil is not going to be a recipe to feel better. I don't think. But maybe
I'd be so sick.
maybe it's just a
I don't know
Friday
why I
night
don't feel
party.
good. I'm drinking coffee and Dayquil all day.
Faith Howell is drinking Milo's sweet tea here. She says that sounds
Ooh.
glorious.
Mm.
Yeah. Bob D is drinking Coke. Very good. Coke is a lot of fun. Scott Jensen the 13th says Mountain Dew or gasoline. Oh, yeah, that's true. Close.
I
close in
think it's Mountain Dew.
color.
Yeah.
Bob D says it's organically recycled Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Somebody up there said Red
Thanks,
Bull.
folks.
I don't know. JR Poole
gosh.
says apple juice with fizzy water, cherry Coke, splash of Red Bull. Whoa.
Wow.
That's fancy.
That is fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fancy.
David Gregory says, it's been ages since I made a nice vegan hot chocolate. Oh, does that mean that Just Rosie's having hot chocolate? Yeah, Just Rosie's having vegan hot chocolate and then chilled it with frozen banana coins.
I want one.
That sounds really
That sounds so
Wow.
good. I want one.
Yeah. Mm.
I don't like it. That doesn't
Put
sound
your
good to
address
me.
up and they can ship some.
Right?
What
Is there a button that does
the-
that somewhere?
Right.
Mm. Glenn Iverson says, just the usual Arnold Palmer iced tea lemonade. I
Mm.
always have with pizza, he says.
Yum.
Oh my gosh.
He's bearing the lead. All right.
That's my favorite combo.
So
Wardog
look,
has
everybody.
some synergy gingerberry kombucha.
Ooh.
Mm.
One Trek fan says Jamaican ginger beer can burn your throat if you're not prepared. Right. That's true.
Oh, really?
great.
Didn't we
Yeah,
I
have
wanna
that? Some super
try
strong.
that.
Yeah.
We
that
did.
was extreme.
We did. It's like spicy.
Mhm.
It's very spicy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're drinking it. You're like, I'm not used to something that tastes like soda. Give me
Yeah.
this kind of physical reaction. Anyway, people are liking the ginger beer stuff. So I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the news out of San Diego Comic-Con, but there is some very big news. There's gonna be bigger news tomorrow, I'm sure, because it's Saturday, but there's still some pretty big news today on a juicy Friday.
Mhm.
And it goes a little
Wow.
something like this.
What is it?
Our friends over at TrekMovie.com covered this news. Jonathan Frakes, Doug Jones, and Armin Shimmerman are voicing the new Star Trek The Animated Celebration
So
shorts.
awesome.
What?
Amazing.
So
I cannot wait.
awesome.
Really cool.
That's going to be
And-
awesome.
Awesome.
Look, they even got the eyeballs
I
right, where it's the
know.
same color.
Yes.
This is important. If he had white irises,
It
we'd
wouldn't
know
be
this is
right.
bullshit.
Yeah.
I will say, though, as soon as I saw this news, I thought of you, JJ. I don't know if you are a big animated series fan or if I just imagined it, but it feels like you are. I know Andre's got to be, but it
Huge.
feels like JJ is as well.
I'm going over to my bookshelf right now.
I love it that he's going to prove it correct.
I actually have an animated background figure. Oh, wow. You got the book. I love it.
I don't know if you're
Cool.
familiar with this
Amazeballs.
tome that came out a couple years ago, but it's the official guide to the animated series. There's some
That's so
really
Wow.
cool
cool.
stuff in here about the production. Yeah. So yes, I am a fan of the show.
You know what I just realized? So they said basically that it's going to be 5 animated shorts, and they've announced 3 of the people. We'll read into that in just a second. You know what I just realized when I was looking at that picture you were holding up, JJ?
Mhm.
Oh.
One of those animated shorts has got to be about Chekhov.
Chekhov. Yeah. It's got to
Because
be,
he's
right?
Wouldn't that be the most wonderful thing ever? He just does the voiceover for it. He can do it.
Absolutely.
No spoilers. Anybody at home, plug your ears. But he did do voiceover just recently in Star Trek. We all know
Yes.
that. So,
Hmm.
and he's still out there working and being active.
Mhm.
What if they do that?
I think that
So
would be a
cool.
really nice kind of like bow to tie that loose end up of the animated series.
Yeah, like a mea culpa too. Kind of,
Yeah,
because he was
right.
the only one that didn't get in.
Well,
Yeah.
they let him write an episode as a mea culpa back when the show was in production. So that was, I don't know if that was his first professional writing credit in television or not, but I imagine it probably
Maybe.
was.
So everybody in the live chat, let us know. Well, you know what? Let's look over the ones that they do have right now first.
Mhm.
So we
But
can
before
kinda-
we go to the article, can we give a shout out to Andre's background?
Yeah, look at this. Hang
I
on,
just
hang
made
on.
it.
I'm gonna spotlight this. Look at Andre.
So
I
good.
just made a few years back, and on my YouTube channel that's launching, he will actually talk. So like it's I love the animated series, and that's the exciting part about Star Trek and going to different formats. Like with like we had with Prodigy now and computer animation, and now we're getting actual animated characters like Lower Decks, except for like TNG. Sign me up.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm looking for if I find it, I'll let you know, because I did an animated inspired piece
Oh, cool.
a couple years ago. You
Yeah,
keep
let us
talking.
know.
I'll look for it.
Yeah, let us know when you find it, even if it's in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I only saw the animated series for the first time ever, like 3 years ago or something like that, 2-3 years ago, and I loved it. I especially loved the opening theme song. It is so freaking fun and snazzy and happy, and oh man. So I'm glad that they're finally getting the love. Well, let's read this article so we can talk about why, what the reason is for them doing this now. Why now? Well, it's because the article reads, 2023 is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, the animated series. And today at San Diego Comic-Con, CBS Studios revealed the first look at how they are saluting the franchise's first foray into animation. Riker, Quark, and Saru join Animated Celebration. To commemorate the golden anniversary of the animated series, CBS Studios is creating 5 all-new animated promotional spots in the TAS style, featuring fan-favorite characters voiced by cast members from across the Star Trek universe, including icons such as Jonathan Frakes as Will Riker, Doug Jones as Saru, and Armin Shimmerman as that guy in the 4th episode of the Next Generation episode.
No.
No, as Quark, of course. I don't remember what that character was, but it was a Outpost, right? 4th episode of Next Generation.
Yes.
So what I wanted to ask JJ and Andre is, they keep saying that everywhere I'm seeing this, they're calling them promotional spots. And I want to know, what the heck does that mean exactly? Does that mean they're like just little shorts? Does that mean it has to be only 30 seconds? Is there a time? What does this mean?
My guess is if they're using the term spot, it is going to be super short, probably in 30 to 60 seconds long, as if they could air it as a promotional commercial. So I hear that, and I'm thinking that these shorts are going to be about a moment in time, and probably a gag. And so I'm not surprised that they would be short, because animation takes time and can be pretty costly. And so this might be a more economic way to do it. Not in
the TAS style.
Well,
but it's still,
I guess you're right about that. If they do it in this style. That's a good
point. Yeah.
If you've got the person like this, and then there's a little bit of action in the background, which is what happened in a lot of the episodes. Then
or they go like, or Kirk, it's just a close up of Kirk going,
yeah.
It's a good gift too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say I agree with JJ. I think it's going to probably be spotlighting a moment in Star Trek, something short. But the cool thing is that they're thinking about it. Like, I would love to see George Takei come back and do something animated. Maybe have like wouldn't it, like a short story where we get to see the crew of the Excelsior and it's animated. Like, I'm just super excited about, like, somebody's like, we should show more Trek characters animated. Lots of story potential, I think, could be told.
Selfishly, when I saw that news, my first thought was, awesome, we can include these in the 2024 Lappy Awards, because we have a less Star Trek this year than we did last year. Last year we had 51 episodes. This year we're going to have 30, unless something magical happens with Prodigy. Now we're only going to have 30. It's going to be Star Trek Picard season 3, Lower Decks season 4, and Strange New Worlds season 2. Now, unless Prodigy comes back quickly and is on Amazon or something like that. But these things are going to be dropped. So yeah, we'll get 5 more. Action shot, Andre.
Very nice.
Did you find that thing, JJ?
I did.
On the Starbase.
Here, let me see if I can share it here.
Oh, here, let me give you the ability.
Give me control.
Scary.
Thank you.
I'm frightened but excited.
Let me see if I can actually get this to work. Hold on 1 second.
Well, while you're doing that,
Yeah. Making me update.
JR Poole says, spot a voiceover an actor can leave in a voicemail. Okay, so that's what he's saying a spot is. For some reason, I jumped over to the cat spot. Maybe they're just all going to be.
Same.
That's what I was thinking. Like, oh, okay.
Spot.
Oh, Robert A.
Oh my God, I love it.
So I did this when he debuted in Strange New Worlds last season, because there were a certain fraction of fans that were upset that he didn't match the way that he looked in the one appearance in the Counterclock Incident, which is an episode of the animated series. So I thought that I would give him the animated,
So awesome.
the animated
Wonderful.
look.
Love it.
I always love
Love
your
it.
use of color. I know I keep telling you that, but this light plum kind of fuchsia kind of
Yeah.
color in the background
Like a pink.
really blends in well with the. I mean, is that straight pink? It feels like it's slightly got a little bit more purplish hue.
Yeah, it's like a mauve-ish color.
Mauve. I
Um,
can't keep up with all these names.
It's a lot of names.
Mauve.
But yeah, that's I was happy with how that turned out. It's a fun style to play in, isn't it, Andre? To
Yep.
because it's a simple style, but it has a really specific look to it. And if you get it right, it's great. But if it's a little off, it just doesn't quite match with that sort of
charm.
simplistic design aesthetic,
Yep.
which is so of its time. It's very cool.
Andre, did you design your own, the ones that you're using as backgrounds?
So no, these were actually commissioned for me by this awesome artist named Kale Teskar a couple years back. Super talented, has a big love for the animated series. Once I saw his work, I was like, dude,
It's perfect.
what do I take my money?
Mhm.
Please make me stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I do 3D art. JJ, well, like all the starships and stuff have been popping up. Those are mine, but 2D, that's his realm and yours.
Yeah.
And you guys do
yeah.
it so well.
Love the
Yeah.
ships. Yeah, I really like.
Thank
the one
you.
we shared before. Very cool.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Throughout the show, Andre, feel free to pull up a couple of those so that we can get
Okay.
a look at those.
Absolutely.
Because they're great. You are
Thank
keeping
you.
busy.
Definitely.
Okay, well, let's read a little bit more of this so I don't keep giving everybody the cliff notes. We can actually hear the real information. So we know it's going to be Riker, Saru, and Quark are going to be the 3 that have been announced out of the 5. The all-new animated spots, quit tricking me, come from creative consultant Casper Kelly, but best known for the viral smash hit Too Many Cooks. Whatever that is.
Oh, you guys don't know Too Many Cooks?
No.
It was. I will try to describe what it is very briefly. So it was. I think it aired during Adult Swim, probably maybe 10 years ago at this point. And if you're familiar with 1980s sitcom opening titles, where there'd be a schmaltzy song, and you have the cast, and they're trying to turn into camera, and their names will come up.
Yes, I love it.
But it lasts way too long, and it gets weirder and weirder
that's
and
funny.
creepier and darker and scarier.
Oh, I
Look
want
it
to
up.
see
Too many
this.
Okay,
cooks.
that
Sounds awesome.
that's-
I want to see this.
yeah, that's very funny. We are
It's really, really funny. It's really good. And then they write a theme song for it that just keeps going. Too
Oh
many
my God.
cooks, too
I'm
many
seeing how long
cooks.
it is, and it does go way too long.
It goes really, really long. Too long. And it gets weirder and
Oh,
weirder
that's
and
funny.
creepier and darker
Oh.
and scary.
I
Look it up.
A scoop of kids to add the spice.
A dash of love to make it nice, and you got
Hang on, sorry.
Where'd it go?
Hang on. Pulling it up because we had sound from 2 things going, so I had to adjust that. But
Your
all right,
computer's
we are
starting to
back.
smoke.
Here it comes.
Too many cooks.
it takes a lot to make a stew,
When it comes to me and you,
and him and her and the baby too. Too many cooks, it's true.
It's like Full House or Family Matters.
Yeah, exactly.
too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
And she's laughing about it.
Wow.
Takes a lot to make a stew.
Especially when it's me and you.
Well, maybe too many cooks will spoil the broth.
she still?
Guys, it gets really dark.
Johnson, you're fired.
Okay, we don't need commercials.
Really dark.
Wow, that is.
Oh.
I want to say I'm going to go back and watch that later for a good laugh, but I'm like 11 minutes. I
Yeah.
think the joke's on me if I watch that for unless is it.
I think it's one of those jokes where it's like, okay, funny. Okay, is it really going to go this long? Is it going to go this? And then it gets funny again. So you really have to kind of stick with it.
Oh wow,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm skipping ahead and what? Okay,
It's got a bill.
all right.
It's got a bill.
Everybody check that out, you guys, but check it out after this show. It's called Too Many
Too many
Cooks,
cooks.
and check it out after the show. Andre here is showing off one of his creations here.
David Gregory said that was uncomfortable.
I like the
She
girl
looked cold.
playing
I was like,
charade,
why?
like the one. She's just
Like,
like
forgot
she's
her
just like
shirt
that
back?
throughout the rest of the show now. That's it. She's like, well, now why bother putting a shirt back on? He's already seen the goods.
And so to make the Star Trek
80s.
connection, I think that the mind behind that was also the mind behind part of the Trouble with Edward.
Yeah, I
short
believe
track.
so.
Yeah.
It says so he did that. Kelly announced program alongside John Van Sitters, vice president. Yeah, so he did work on Short Trek. So certainly the Trouble with Edward and possibly others.
Trouble with
Cute
Edward was
Zuru.
so funny. I mean, the guy who plays Archer was Edward.
Right.
Oh my god! Like
Yeah.
that was the Star Trek episode I needed, and then the ship just exploded with tribbles. Great.
Wow.
And there was an animation
awesome.
section at the end of it too, which might be another bridge to these shorts because they did
Mhm.
that faux
Oh.
triple cereal commercial at the very end
Yep.
of it.
Yep. He literally wanted to eat them. I mean, and did.
Gross.
So gross.
Gross. Triples are people too, you know.
Right.
No, they aren't.
They're people too.
It's the other white meat.
Right.
No.
I bet you their meat is brown. I bet you they're brown. They're like brown meat, so they kind of just look
Mhm.
like ground beef or poop or something like that.
Or
Depends
blue
on what
meat.
part of the Trouble, I think.
They had blue meat in Star Trek Picard. Maybe it's blue.
Oh, maybe it is.
Remember that blue steak? Maybe it was triple.
Right.
Maybe like a specific part of them looks like a calamari ringlet. Um, it's like
Ugh.
chewy.
Try it.
Ew.
What are those called? Like calamari rings or
Triplets.
something?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
triplets.
Triplets.
Triplet giblets.
Ew. Gross.
Like a bloomin' onion, a bloomin' tribble.
Oh, I like the rings. I just want the rings. That's like a delicacy on Kronos.
Oh, they would eat them though. They eat them so much to
Right, with blood wine. Yeah.
right.
So- You guys have any guesses as to who the other two spots would be? And everybody in the live chat, let us know. So we've got Riker, we've got Saru, we've got Quark. Just a guess, but maybe they're just doing all separate series. Like, you know, maybe they won't do 3 from Deep Space Nine, or maybe they will. I really have no idea. But what are your guesses for the other two? Everybody in the live chat, let us know your guesses. What do you guys think?
I heard a rumor, and I don't know if it's been confirmed, that the fourth one will be Mr. Cornfeed himself, Neelix.
Oh,
Really?
No.
wow.
Okay.
I saw
Okay.
something like that too, but I had no idea if that was anything official or just.
I don't
jive
know
tracking.
that they have
Hmm.
confirmed or that they've confirmed that Ethan Phillips will be back, but I thought I saw a rumor that may be the fourth one.
Awesome.
Andre,
Yeah.
what's this fried Kelpian strips?
I couldn't believe Discovery went there. I'll just leave it at that.
Saruganov, you said?
I saw a meme that says Saruganov with the box of like Stroganoff except for Saru's face. Oh my god.
Oh no, that's so gross.
That's
Love it.
Sarud. Mean.
How rude.
Come on, Star Trek.
Old
So-
sitcoms.
So if that's the case, who would be the I mean, I would love, I think that would be the perfect fitting and closing of a book for the animated series if Chekhov got the fifth one. I think that would be
love
wonderful.
that
Definitely.
I don't know if they are, but that's what I would
What
be
if-
rooting for.
Yeah.
What about Takei? I would like to see him.
Mhm.
But Chekhov would be nice.
I'm sure he would be around to do it,
I like the idea of, because you had mentioned Takei, but in the motion picture era.
Yes.
Mhm.
As a
Captain
captain
of
of the Excelsior.
Yeah, to switch it up. I think
That would be
cool.
awesome.
The other one that I would think of if they're not going to do sort of new Trek would be if they did something with Enterprise. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat.
Maybe the
So-
season 5 that we never got, or
Mhm.
maybe like a President Archer, because we know he becomes president from Canon
Right.
at some point. I'd love to see something from Enterprise. And
Or
someone in
maybe
the
it's
chat said,
maybe it's a Porthos short. I don't know.
Oh, I
That'd be
love
cute.
that.
A spot.
I would love that.
Yeah,
Spots. There you go.
We'll
it
do
could
both.
be. They didn't.
Portho
They didn't
and Spot.
say. Did they say specifically? Well, even if they said characters, those are characters.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Interesting. Let's see what everybody else is saying. All right, you guys, I asked a serious question and they're talking about Kentucky Fried Kelpian, and Kentucky Fried Tribbles, and they're just
KFT, we do trebles right.
you
Raised
guys.
Kelpian.
Glenn Iverson, the adult in the room, Glenn Iverson says Robert Picardo should definitely be a part of it. I think, is he the only one that answered that?
No.
Everybody else just wants to talk about Tribbles and Saruganov.
No, Chanel. Hancock says Data, TNG, and 7 of 9. Or
Nice.
Patrick, and then Chris
Oh, there it is,
Marshall
yeah.
said, or Patrick Stewart and a non-visitor. Woohoo! No, should be in everything.
And
She should
Puka
be.
says Trip, because
Yeah.
then
Absolutely.
what if it shows Trip after the 4th season? Then they're
Yes.
and the other question, here's the thing. I would be that dork at Star Trek at the Star Trek panel at Comic-Con that would raise my hand and say, excuse me, Mr. Van Sitters, can you tell me and all the fans out there, these 5 spots, will they be canon?
I knew that was coming.
Only because other people are going to be asking me, but are these 5 spots, are these officially canon? And then they would give some kind of like diplomatic answer. Well, they're all. What do you think? It's canon. If it's canon to you, that's all that matters. No, you're not answering the question. Are they canon? But because call me a sucker, but I want these to be canon. I want these to actually be like an official piece of Star Trek. Otherwise, it's like a fan film. I mean, it's cute, it's fine, and I'll take it. But to us, I mean, at least to me, it would matter that much more if they say, here's an official canon scene from Chekhov or from Riker or from whatever. And it just has a cute little moment,
Yeah.
My thought on canon is it's canon until it's not. That's it. If it exists, it's canon, and then you can consider it canon unless there's something else that sort of rubs up against it the wrong way. But one of my favorite parts about being a fan of franchises like Star Trek are trying to make the puzzle pieces fit together for yourself. Where if you have 2 pieces of what seems to be conflicting information, how can you as a fan sort of like try to use your own imagination and sort of creative prowess to try to make that make sense to you? I feel like that's a really fun interactive way to engage with the fandom and with the franchise, rather than just being like, this didn't match my expectations. It's like, well, how
Right.
would you make it match your expectations? I mean, we have this
Totally.
entire universe to play with, and we have so many precedents in the universe, alternative timelines, time travel. Like, think about it, be creative.
Right.
Yep.
And Star Trek and any show that you watch really is dependent on the individual watching and their experience, life experiences. No
Yeah.
two people are going to watch a show and have the same exact reaction to it. It's never going to happen because we all have our own imaginations and creativity, and they vary from person to person. So
Yeah.
it's unrealistic to put those expectations on a show, you know.
Right. Canon was the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
Well, you know,
It's
it reminds me
true.
there's like these books. I saw like a Star Wars book that's like this, and what's fun about this kind of canon conversation, and that's what I'm saying, this kind of canon, because I see people fighting about canon all the time, and I'm like, bro, go walk outside. You'll notice the whole world's out there.
Shoot
But-
yourself out of a cannon.
But it was an interesting book that said that it was talking about Star Wars inconsistencies or things that didn't make sense. For example, the parsecs. Remember how they said it's 9 parsecs or whatever, and everybody's like, isn't that a measurement of distance, not a measurement of time? So it would explain things. It would have 2 explanations. It would say in-universe explanation, and it would be like, in this, this black hole, parsecs are actually a measurement of blah, 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 blah. And then it would say real world explanation, because John Smith didn't know what the hell he was talking about when he wrote this, and nobody,
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. I'm always fine with them just saying, hey, the writer made a mistake. Whatever. We were writing 26 episodes a year, man. We
Right.
weren't all communicating every single we didn't know that episode 7 was going to have something different than episode 22 that slightly conflicted. So then people go, well, that didn't work. Well, in universe, you can make a fun
Right.
explanation for it. You can be creative. And out of the universe, you know the answer. The answer is they made a mistake. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
these are being written by human beings, not
Yeah.
Right.
AI or
How dare they.
computers.
Right. And part of the fun is stitching that together in your head. Like, why does a certain thing happen and how does it impact others? And if it's a little off, like, it's fun to see even the writers go back and fix something like an Enterprise when they had the Klingon foreheads in the beginning. And then they did a whole episode in season 4 about many Klingons losing their foreheads. I was like, that is so awesome. Like, let's take a little canon difference and then write something to explain it.
They gave an
Part of the fun.
in-universe explanation in an episode.
Exactly.
We all loved it.
And I think you see more and more of that as fans of this, because this franchise has been around for over 50 years. I mean, the people making the shows now and the movies are fans because they grew up with it. There's a good example. There's a couple of good examples. There's one from Star Wars, if I'm remembering this correctly, and if there are any huge Star Wars fans that I'm getting this wrong, I apologize. But I think it was
All
in one
right,
of the
I'm
novels.
listening.
I know, right? Get ready.
Really know.
One of the novels, someone describes a character that they don't see as being, he had the look of a Portuguese man, and this is Star Wars, so like that'd be strange to use that as a descriptor because that's a country on planet Earth in the 20th century. But after that, in another book or in another piece of canon, someone introduced the planet of Portugal in universe so that they could say, well, when they said Portuguese, they meant this planet that exists on the outer rim, and that's what the author was referring to, not the Portugal that we know on Earth.
No, that would be silly.
I mean, isn't that crazy? Like that someone was creative enough to say, well, I noticed this strange piece of writing here, because this was very early on in the franchise, and you might not catch something like that because you're just using a descriptive term.
And it's not too far-fetched that out of millions of planets, some of them sound very similar.
Exactly.
Like, hello, everybody notice that there's a planet called Andoria, right? With Andorians. Well, we do have a country on this planet called Andorra. And the people are Andorans. So yeah, like it's possible for, somebody could be like, oh, he looked like an Andorran or something. And then in Star Trek, they could be like, oh, I meant Andorian or anything like that. Mm-hmm.
This week's episode of Strange New Worlds had a moment where, Strange New Worlds has been playing a lot with, how can we take the little tiny pieces of canon that have been spoken aloud in TOS, almost 60 years ago now. And how can we take them and extrapolate on them? And, I think it was in the Menagerie, Kirk mentions, I met Pike once when he was promoted to fleet captain. And, in your mind, you might think, okay, this must have been a ceremony and they briefly shook hands. But in this newest episode, we see that happen, but the circumstances are completely different than what people had in their mind when that line was written, almost 60 years ago.
But they locked it into canon.
Yeah, you yes and. It's okay, yes, we'll take that.
Right.
And we'll add this whole adventure that surrounds that line so that we can, make a TV show out of it.
And how often have we said, oh yeah, no, I met that person once, and then you realize, oh no, wait a minute, I met them there too. Oh, and I met them there too. So
yeah, and they were really mad at you that you kept introducing yourself. I'm James Kirk. Yes, we've met before.
And look how Kirk met Uhura. He might have been starting to sit down and be like, oh, she's pretty, let me talk to her. And then she picked up on it and she was just like, I don't really feel like being hit on right now. Like, so that's an interesting piece, like it plays into the, like, how did they form the iconic connection? And then Spock walks up, it turns out they all met in a bar, So it's really exciting to see stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be the next 50 years of your life.
Right.
Yeah, get used to these guys.
Yeah.
But
I feel like as fans, especially longtime fans of this, this show that's really important to a lot of us, sometimes it can be hard to be truly open to expansions of that storytelling because you write your own canon in your head. And I think that especially as we're getting more and more stuff to fill in gaps in franchises like Star Trek and Star Wars, we to maybe try and let go a little bit of the preconceived notions that we have and just sort of go along for the ride and sort of, try to enjoy what's in front of us rather than constantly rewriting it in our head as it's being presented, because that's not fun. I mean, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's not a fun way to interact with media or with Star Trek.
And some fans take it to the next level. There is one YouTuber named JTVFX that created some amazing sequences about what happens in Best of Both Worlds, not on the Enterprise. So there's a two-parter episode where he shows Starfleet basically rushing to meet the threat of the Borg. And I'm obsessed with those shorts, because if you watch it, it's everything that was going on behind the scenes. This dedicated fan filled in the canon, and you get a whole picture of the fleet assembling, and then he even pasted in pictures of clips of Cisco on the what is the name of the ship that he was on, the Saratoga, and it's really Saratoga. Good. So after the yep. I was like, wait, it's in there.
Oh, did you say it? You must have froze.
Yeah, I said it. I don't know who won, but I'm pretty sure I said it first.
We'll fix it in post.
Go check it out. I love to see stuff like that from fans, because he filled in headcanon that would actually be awesome story in the episode. So
yeah, it's so cool. That's the kind of, I don't know, that's the fandom energy that I'm into as well.
Boom.
Where instead of griping about what might not fit the perfect puzzle piece in your head, you just try to fill in those gaps yourself and have fun with it and be creative. I mean, this stuff should be fun. It shouldn't be stressful.
See, I've got I think I have more patience than most people for the people that cling on, for lack of a better term, to, very rigid rules and memories and what they expect it to be, and then any slight little change in canon, and they drive that, it's like a tiny hole, and they drive a wedge into it and make it super big. And I have patience for them because, I mean, first of all, let's just go ahead and put it out in the open. There are there's a lot of people that have a certain type of personality or whatever that do get obsessed with Star Trek, and there are certain types that have this kind of obsessive or straight-laced type of view on things. And when they don't wear that on their profile picture when they're arguing in a Facebook group, you just have to assume that there's a possibility you might be talking to somebody that's not very good at accepting change. And there are a lot of I feel like we have way more than our share in the Star Trek community. So I just kind of assume that most people have some level of difficulty with change. And that's why I like the way you put it, JJ, which is the way you're saying, you're not going like, you're an idiot. You're just saying,
Not
hey,
at all. No way.
you're saying, hey, you're so right. It's so fun to get these in your mind and work these out. But why not just open up your mind a little bit more and go along for the ride? And I think that's just a much better way to go about it, because I'm seeing these people attacking other people for what? For being, stuck on something they've been obsessed with for 30 years. We're all kind of like that, and we got to be a little bit more, we got to be a little bit more easier with them, just like they need to be easier with it, because it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, but there also, on the flip side, there is nothing wrong with expecting people who are working on this to approach the show with some sort of integrity. And there should be some modicum of continuity in this universe that we've all invested our lives in, decades of our lives in.
Yeah.
So there should be some through line, but it doesn't have to be rigid.
Melissa's one of them. Go ahead.
No, I think
I'm just kidding. I totally agree. Yeah,
I get
totally
it. I think there's I don't know. There's the two sides, and then there's a neutral zone in between.
Right.
And I think in that neutral zone, there's room to play and extrapolate. But once you get into the Romulan territory, that's an act of war. And okay.
Well, Picard, how long are we going to stare at each other across the neutral zone?
Shoulder pads.
All good things, I think.
Large shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads, yeah.
Love those Romulan shoulder pads. They're the best thing about the Romulans in TNG.
Linebackers.
Well, those shoulder pads are
like
canon.
I love the symmetry, because you've got the shoulder pads, and then they introduce the ridges here. Ridges. It's a nice little ensemble look for the Romulans. In TNG.
Kind of like the
that's another great example from Picard, where they're like, Romulans from the north and Romulans from the south.
Right.
Some have ridges and some don't. I love that stuff.
They fixed an in-universe canon issue in one line.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then all of us, we caught that. We're like, oh, so these guys were from the south and those guys were from the north. All right, done. Well, how come they were all from the north back in the day and then they were all from the south? Well, because they were the dominant race at that time on their planet, maybe. I don't know.
And we didn't see every adventure that Kirk and crew had. They might have had a run-in with some different types of Romulans.
This is true. We never see them in waste extraction, so come on.
There you go.
Maybe the Northerners were all assigned to like one ship, and then Southerners on another ship.
There you go. Yeah. What if there was, a lot of, sectioning off of those cultures? I mean, there's an idea for another, plot line. There's an idea for a fan fiction. Like these things just sort of present themselves.
That's a great episode idea, actually, are the factions between the North and the South and why they don't ever mix.
And we honestly could see something like that in the future, because as long as this franchise goes, the more deeply that we can explore all of these fictional cultures. And what's so exciting is that, especially a storyline like that, because Star Trek at its best reflects us and reflects our world, whether you have 20 ears or ridges on your forehead or look just like us. And to be able to find those reflections in this fictional universe and to be able to tell a story that resonates. I mean, hopefully we see this for the next 60 years.
Here's something interesting. Our good friend, Scott Jensen, the 13th, and I use the term friend loosely, but Scott Jensen, just kidding. We love Scott Jensen. He's one of our favorite humans out there. And we're looking forward to seeing him in a couple weeks. And he's going to remind me of this joke I just made, I bet, when I see him. He says, very openly, he says, I'm diagnosed OCD, but I do understand that other people aren't and enjoy being very random. So, Scott, if you don't mind, can you tell us in the live chat, do you find canon issues sometimes hard to rectify in your mind? Does it take a little bit of work to just, because those of us who see something that contradicts something they've known and loved for 30 years, it immediately grates on our minds, and some of us can pass right through it. Other people takes a little bit of work to work through it. And some people just, we've seen online, some people refuse it. Some people say, nope, doesn't work, not listening, not accepting it. So I was wondering, Scott, Jensen, can you let us know, does it take a little bit of difficulty to kind of weave through into accepting that, or does it just kind of pass through no problem? Because that's always an interesting thing. Scott says, did you just hear my heart break? I did, and I loved it. It was like
Delicious
like
agony.
it was like an ice hockey ring just cracking down. Just kidding.
We do love you, Scott.
Yeah, we totally do.
Even
He's
though
like, I'm gonna
your
remember
keys
this.
face all the same way, but mine don't. He knows
So-
what that's referring to.
while he answers that or doesn't, Just Rosie 5 says, can I please point out that it's okay for fans to be themselves so long as they're not attacking other fans for having different
Completely agree.
perspectives?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
I do
Star Trek
feel
shows
like-
us.
Yeah,
I do feel like
and
that's
that's what
something
really
that bothers
breaks
me,
my
yeah.
heart is when
Mhm.
fans start attacking each other personally over
Right.
over this stuff.
Me too. You know what I see that's the worst thing, and it's kind of counterintuitive, is like when somebody is saying something that is, subjectively speaking, they're saying something that is wrong or incorrect. They're saying, oh, Discovery isn't canon, for example, or they're just saying something where it's like, you're wrong, fine, it's not that big of a deal. But what I don't like is that then I see my fellow Star Trek fans who are good people just pouncing on this person like jackals because they
Right.
have the excuse of
A lot of
this
passion.
person's wrong.
Yeah.
And so they turn it like personal. They go like, you're
Yeah.
wrong, you're a fucking idiot. I'm like, whoa, he's wrong. That's all. It's okay.
It's
okay,
happened
everybody,
to
calm
all of
down.
us.
I know
Yeah.
it's too much. Like, guys, relax. Like, yeah, they're probably taking it too seriously, but so are you.
Right.
And I think it speaks to just that, there's a lot of people who have a lot of passion in this show. And I think sometimes that passion kind of erupts if they have a certain vision of it and they see something else that doesn't agree. But Star Trek shows us infinite diversity and infinite combinations, the Vulcan IDIC. So it's going to be a little different, and it's okay to accept that difference. What you take out of Star Trek, and you said, JJ, earlier, like, it's kind of what you take out of it, So, yeah, I totally agree. So fans shouldn't attack each other personally, and it's okay to have those differences if you don't like something. But just, it's the same show. Support the Trek.
Yeah. Civil discussion, I think, is good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Real quick too, Andre said IDIC. And this is something I still don't know how to pronounce that thing. Some people say IDIC, some people say EDIC, some people say IDIC. I feel like IDIC might be the most common one. I don't know. I really don't know. Does anybody? I don't know.
I've heard IDIC, but I've heard IDIC, and I don't know either.
Probably
Yeah,
depends on where you're from and what
heard it all.
accent you got.
Yeah, what accent? Yeah.
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah.
Idic,
Right.
I used to just spell it out. IDIC.
There you go.
Mhm.
Safe.
Yeah, because then way back in the day when we had when we created the Lappy Awards, which, by the way, anybody that doesn't know, is the very first and only Star Trek awards show. It's like the Emmys, but for Star Trek. And it's basically the coolest thing ever because it's like the Emmys for Star Trek. So they're finally getting the love they deserve. One of the thoughts I had was to, rather than the Lappies, was to call it like the IDICs. But I was like, what, IDICkies, the IDICkies? I don't know. I couldn't see that working. And then anyway, gotta leave that
Like
alone.
the wonders with the number one, or the spelled out. The
I don't know what
leaders.
I don't know what the image for the Dickies, IDICkies would look like, but
Can of worms.
so Scott Jensen says, in reference to our question earlier, he says, it's just like JJ said, it's canon until it's not. Kind of have to look at it like improv in jazz. The old or original way was part of the song when it was. Cool.
Yeah.
Remember,
A very
on this- I think
mature
it's
way to look at it.
I love that.
3 episodes ago in Strange New Worlds, the eugenics war was supposed to start in 1992 because that's in the 90s, and Spock in the 60s said it was supposed to start in the 90s. So then La'an says, oh, that actually starts because of the temporal Cold War. It started in the 21st century. So it's canon until it's not. And the writers ran with that in just a few lines. Like, because of the Romulan interference, they tied together a whole plot point from Enterprise into justifying why we're seeing the eugenics war happen a little bit later. So I love that because it shows that that interference had a real consequence in Star Trek.
Which is a bummer because I was going to have my pink fluorescent windbreaker ready for the eugenics wars, but now it's not in the 90s anymore.
Oh, man.
So it's gonna look silly.
The pink windbreaker.
It's hot pink and my Oakleys with the green, the fluorescent green bands.
Sky blue. Yeah.
I clocked that too, Andre, and I even paused it at my poor wife, who I'm watching this episode with. And I'm like, that just addressed a canon issue, and she's just like,
yeah,
you nerd.
Finish the episode, please.
Total. Me, us.
And and again, that's a scenario where you can see it both ways, because it's nice to have a timeline set in your mind if you're a fan of a fictional universe. And when things start to slide around like that, it can feel like the creators are playing fast and loose. But I'm with you. You look at it deeper and you're like, wow, they're bringing in so much continuity to try to explain something. And they're trying to do this for a really specific reason in our world, which is Star Trek is the most effective when it is a future that we can still reach for. And if we have fictionalized events that are taking place in our past that have not happened, I think a lot of people feel like Star Trek loses a bit of its teeth.
It's a really good point. Yep.
So if you want Star Trek to still feel prescient, if you want Star Trek's past to be our future, then you do want to update it. You want to shift what seemed like ages in the future, the 1990s to the 1960s production staff, and shift it into the future so that everything that's happening in this universe still seems like it's far off, so that we can still look at this, utopian endeavor and say, hey, this is something that we can still as a human race reach for. So that makes sense to me. And I understand if people don't agree, but that as a Star Trek fan and as someone who hopes to see our world reflect the world we see on the screen someday, that makes sense to me.
Right.
Good stuff. We promised so much other discussion, everybody. We weren't even planning on talking about canon, but it's such an it's definitely one of the conversations that I just never have any part of. Like, I see people actually fighting about it, like 15 replies to each other about it. And it's just so confusing to me. I mean, I get it that canon is a confusing thing because it is ever evolving. And oftentimes a new show that is canon completely contradicts an old show that was canon. And so I get it. There can be discussion to be had. Just to me, it's a little less interesting. I just go, that's it. I like it when they do something smart, like when they address it, like with the Strange New Worlds thing, or with the Romulan Northerner thing, or with the entire episode, we do not discuss it with outsiders. Well, that wasn't actually,
love that.
They addressed it in Trials and Trials and Tribulations, but also the Enterprise episode. There's a lot of good stuff being passed around in those episodes when it comes to, what is that called? Like canon smoothing or canon melding,
Yeah. Canon course correction. We want to use a Star Trek navigating.
And canon course correction is science, because science is always evolving with what it learns as it, as we learn more. So it's similar to science in that way.
Ain't that the truth? Our buddy Rico E. Anderson in the live chat says, well, actually, first he texted me, and it was a very long text. But basically, it's exactly what he just said right here. He says, great convo. That was the point of it. He was just saying that you guys are great and he's enjoying the show right now. So shout out to him there. for finding the time to join us. Usually he's like, bro, I'm too busy. It's pizza day,
Every day.
Glenn Iverson eats pizza while he watches.
Yes. Multitask.
I eat pizza while I eat pizza.
Yum.
Also, everybody, here's something interesting. Just wanted to bring this up for a moment. Remember this? The Cisco Day happened
Yay.
May 22nd, 2023. Just wanted to remind everybody what a cool thing that we all did together. Big, huge thanks to Matt Boardman for designing this kind of stuff and for doing all the graphics. And look at that. I mean,
So
I was just
good.
thinking about that again today, where I was like, how did we pull that up? We were actually trending. You go on Twitter and the Cisco Day was actually trending. And that's, a first for us, but all these great thumbnails and stuff that, here's a good one that our friend Matt Boardman made. This was a great one. So anyway, it's just fun to know. Oh, look at that one. JJ Lendl and Jenny R.
Hey.
Johnson. Quadruple J.
Woo.
Remember, everybody, if you go to theciscoday.com, that's theciscoday.com, all of these are still viewable. You can just click on the image. Just click on the image. The video comes up and you can just watch any of these anytime. So any of these you may have missed or want to see again. And I was just kind of looking back at that today and remembering what a cool thing it was that we all did together, especially because, it's great. It's great to have fun, and it's great to, give the fans something fun. But the real reason we did it was for Mr. Avery Brooks.
Yes.
And the truth is, luckily and happily and wonderfully, Mr. Avery Brooks did see this. He did love the Cisco wall. He was very happy with it. And I don't know to what extent he watched or enjoyed the videos, but I do know that he was very, he seemed to be a little taken aback by it, kind of surprised by the gesture. And that he actually seemed to very much like and appreciate the Cisco wall. So that's really cool news, because really that's the bottom line, is we want to give somebody the love that he may not know we still have for him, because he's kind of, recused himself from the public eye. He's done his job. He's retired. He's doing his thing. That's great. He deserves it. So he may not know that, still 10, 15, 20, 30 years later, we're still talking about him. We still love him. We still wish him well, so it's great that he does know that. He doesn't think that we just, just because he pulled away, that we've suddenly forgotten about him or his talent. So anyway, it's just a fun thing to go back on. And remember, May 22nd is the Cisco Day, not just this year, but every year forever.
Yes. It is canon.
Speaking of canon, that's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. So that was fun. And big thanks to Matt Boardman and to everybody that joined us, like Celia Rose Gooding and Tawny Newsom, of course, from Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, Ira Stephen Bear, of course, Derek Tyler Attico, who's doing the autobiography of Benjamin Sisko, which is really cool. Scott McDonald, who was Tosk, joined us. That was fun. Obviously, Jenny R. Johnson and JJ Lendl. You guys did some really cool Deep Space Nine art. Falling Tower reviewed A Man Called Hawk, which was so much fun to finally do. That was suggested by checks notes, Karak Lofton.
Sounds right.
Interesting.
That's what it's. Yeah. Oh, you just got quiet, JJ.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
We can hear
You're
you.
just a little quieter. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
What did you say? I think when you pulled away, maybe that's why it got quiet.
Oh, sorry. I'm good. I'm
Awesome. Oh, one last thing on that is this fun thing, which was just showing the people that were a part of it. You may recognize some of these great people. Oh, there's our buddy Rico E. Anderson. Dennis Madelone. Yeah, so that was fun. Good time. Cool. Anyway, I didn't mean to kill the conversation, but that was just something that I was thinking about today. And I was like, wow, that's really cool that we did that, and we'll keep it going.
It was great. Thanks again for letting me take part in that. Yeah, we had a really fun conversation about DS9 and art. And shout out to Jenny, because I actually just this week got a few of her pieces in the mail, and they look phenomenal in person. I got some prints for DS9.
Really? What did you get?
Nice.
Voyager
Specifically.
I got her TNG piece from All Good Things of them playing poker.
That's the best ever.
I got the DS9 piece of Cisco looking at his reflection.
See, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Those are the two best. Now I'm like, okay, maybe that one's the best ever.
And then I got a Voyager piece, which really pops in person, and it's from Endgame with Admiral Janeway facing off with the Borg Queen. So my idea was to have, because there's a square piece for the poker one, and then there's a longer piece for DS9, and then a longer piece for Voyager. And so I'm going to get one more square piece, because I believe that there is an upcoming release coming up that may connect with the TNG poker piece.
We're getting a JJ exclusive with a JJ with an R.
I saw her tease it online, so I'm not putting anything out there that's not out there.
And Jenny R. Johnson pops up in the live chat. She pops up because her ears were ringing. She says, "Hi pals, I'm on my phone and can't tag, but I'm so happy to see you." And then she says JJ with a lot of exclamation points. And then she says chills. I'm not sure if she means Star Trek and chill, but probably based on what you said.
She's telling me to chill. She's like, JJ,
chills, man.
Talking.
Chills.
Like, I'll make the announcements, bro. You
whatever comes next. I've got a square spot in my little space waiting for another piece. No pressure. No pressure.
And then she says, "This just made my night." Very cool. I believe she's traveling right now. Jenny, where are you traveling right now? I can't remember where it was, but you are somewhere fun. And everybody in the live chat, please let us know yourselves. Where are you? What city are you in? What country are you in? Are you in Andorra or Andoria?
Ooh.
That should be our thing. From Andorra to Andoria. People will be like, but we don't know anybody from either of those places. Have you ever? Well, I've been to Andorra. I was going to ask if anybody has been, but it's probably unlikely because it's a small country. I think it's only got like 500,000 people, maybe 600,000. And it's just this little nation that's nestled in the Pyrenees in between France and Spain. And I went there because I was going skiing up in the Pyrenees with my family who lives in France. But like on the way back, they all go through Andorra because Andorra is known as the little country that has no tax. So it's like a gigantic strip mall. All the French and Spanish go there to buy all their supplies tax free. And so here I was thinking, wow, we're going to find this beautiful little town nestled in the mountains with people with big bushy beards and goats, you know? And no, it was just a giant strip mall with people just carrying out crates of Marlboros. It was just like boxes of Marlboros and booze and cheese. That's all it was. They're just, it's like their Costco. It's like Costco to them.
Costco of Europe.
So funny.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't what I mean, it was beautiful to look around because it's in the valley amongst, you know, all these mountains, but you know, the ground level just, it was just regular. But anyway, go check out Andorra, everybody. So let's see. DM viewing is in Ireland. Wow, that's cool. Staying up late, having some Lagavulin maybe. Chris Marshall's in Vancouver, Washington. Paul Brulo is in Adelaide. Wow, we've got an Aussie. We got an Aussie in our midst. Puka says Nash Vegas. Not sure what that means. Sounds like two cities. Kathy D is in Vegas, baby. Chuck A is in Colorado Springs, Colorado, on the planet Earth. TJ Kitty Cat says Andoria. Puka says Nashville. Better. Jenny R. Johnson, she says, I'm on Cape Breton Island. Cool. Let's see where that is.
Nova Scotia.
See. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's just on the edge of, see, they're calling it an island, but really it's one of those islands that's kind of like, basically, here's Nova Scotia. And they're like, what? It's technically an island, you dick. There's like a little thing going. There it is.
Well, you know, I bet that's a lot bigger than it looks on the map.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you're swimming across that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. It looks like it's about half a mile. You could do it.
Well, I'm not swimming across that.
No deal.
I don't know about your swimming prowess, Ryan, but I'm not swimming across that.
I bet you it's harder than it's, because it feels like, 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet. I'm like, yeah. I mean, you could walk that. Why can't you swim that? But I bet it's one of those
how cold
things.
That water is, right?
Yeah, that too. But how big is the English Channel?
It's a good question.
I think it's like,
go to the chat.
I think
How
it's
big
like
is the
20.
English Channel, folks? Who
I think
knows?
it's like 20 miles across.
Mhm.
It's still. I think it's still significant.
Oh, there's a
We'll
bridge
swim
going
across
to the
that
island, so
sometime.
that's good. So they don't have to swim; they can walk it. I saw a bridge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Scroll
looks
up
like-
to the northwest.
Looks like at the closest point, it's 15 to 20 miles apart is what it looks like. I'm sorry, 30 kilometers, everybody.
There you go. Got it.
The kilometer is canon in Star Trek. So's the mile.
This is true.
Yep.
Domestic
Parsec.
says he's near Pismo Beach, United States. That's cool. My parents live near there. DJ Kitty Cat says, I think they speak Catalan in Andorra, and that is correct. They do speak Catalan there, which just looks similar to Spanish and kind of similar to French. It's kind of what you would expect, like kind of like an offshoot of those languages. So if you
Nice.
could read one of those languages, you could pretty much figure it out. It's very similar. War Dog Heim says, does anybody here not know I'm in the mountains of Montana? It's true. Chris Gavin's in Saskatchewan. Boy, we've got a lot of country
Wow.
representation here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. DJ says Maryland. Pat B says Vero Beach, Florida. JR Poole says Mount Washington, Pennsylvania, aka Pittsburgh. The Three
Hey.
Rivers. Say
I grew up in Beachview.
Beach
If
View.
you know where it's the same side of the river. They're gonna go, whoa, or they're gonna be like, so what?
Nah, JR Poole's one of our favorites. Right now,
Yeah.
he's like drawing a picture of Beachview right now. He's also a
Oh,
great
yeah?
artist. Mhm.
Mhm.
We've got a lot of artists. Star Trek attracts
Yeah.
artists, smart
It
people,
does.
creative folks.
Creative.
Well, you guys, before we go, I think there's also a strike happening. So
Heard
I
that.
think everybody knows about that. I don't know what there is to cover. Star Trek Las Vegas is going to be very different because the Star Trek actors, as most people know, won't be able to talk about Star Trek. Or as the Star Trek actors say, you mean I'm not going to be able to say the same exact motherfucking story for the 500th time? Darn.
Yeah.
Boy, I sure was looking forward to talking about the funniest moment in Next Generation, or who
Yeah.
was the prankster on Deep Space Nine, or what was it like working with Kate Mulgrew? It was we liked it.
How long did it take
Thank
to get
you.
your makeup on?
Yeah. How long? Hi, Aaron Eisenberg. Hi. I was wondering, I was watching episode 3 of season 5, and I have a 9-part question, and the first part is how long does it take you to put on your makeup every day?
No, they really do hate that. They do. I remember talking to Armin Shimmerman. I was like, I wanted to ask him questions about Lumba, like when he dressed in drag, and he looked at me like, I don't remember that. I don't know what was in my head.
That's
And-
what I did an X-Files convention a couple of weeks ago. And
You do
you know,
awesome
that-
X-Files
Oh my
art, by the
gosh,
way,
I
everybody. You
love
should check
it.
out his art,
Thank
his
Yes.
X-Files stuff.
Oh,
We did a
okay.
convention in
X-Files.
Saratoga Springs where there's the new X-Files museum. And
What?
it's really cool. And the folks who put it together, Jim and Kelly, Jim's been collecting X-Files stuff for years. He has screen use props and costumes, and he got this huge donation from Chris Carter, is the original laptop that he wrote the pilot episode on. So all this stuff. But they had this fan fest a couple of weeks ago up there, and they did panels with some of the cast. Annabeth Gish was there, who played Reyes, and William B. Davis, who played the cigarette smoking man, Bruce Harwood, who was one of the lone gunmen. And they're doing the Q&A, and people are asking them these questions. And most of these guys, there were some folks, these were like guest spots that they did in season 1, and they're asking them these really specific questions. And in my mind, I'm like, folks, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast last week. Like,
I know.
They don't remember.
are you guys really remembering this time? And I was so impressed
We
because
really do.
they did have things to say. But I'm
Wow.
like, you asked me a question about something I did 20 years ago? I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a coherent response. I'm not going to sure if I'm going to have a coherent response about what I did last month.
Yeah,
I'm lucky
especially
I
not
remember
20
that
years
panel
ago.
from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I found too that sometimes it depends on the actor and the franchise. Like I've talked to some of the Expanse actors, and like we had 30-minute long conversations about the science in the show. And
Wow.
like I
Well,
talked
it's
to the
great
Duarte
science.
actor. Yeah, like they like but I guess after 35 years, if you're a Star Trek character of rehashing those same questions, I can understand why they either don't remember or don't want to talk about it. So like when I see some of the older actors, longer standing, I kind of like modulate my questions a little bit, not to ask those things. But like the newer actors, they're like fresh in the head with some of the stuff,
right in
and
their
they're like
mind.
ready to talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's something I had to learn about. Like, okay, like if somebody's been in the show for the years, they probably don't remember certain stuff. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to pull up some of this X-Files stuff on our way out.
Yay.
JJ, let me ask you this question, because I don't know the answer. Do the people at X-Files have any idea that you do this kind of art?
Yes. So a lot of my work is official. And the
Official. That's badass.
Yeah. So when they brought the show back in 2016,
Awesome.
I ended up
love
working
it.
with the producers and the writers' room. They would send me
Wow.
the scripts and early cuts of the
The
episodes. And then I would design posters for the new episodes that debuted in seasons 10 and 11. And prior to that, I had been making these prints, which you're seeing right here, for the
Mhm.
classic episodes from the 90s. And out of that deal, we ended up releasing a bunch of these as officially licensed posters for the show. And actually, this is what you're looking at right here, debuted at my very first San Diego Comic-Con back in 2015. We had these available as a set. So
Oh.
yes, this stuff is very near and dear to my heart, and it helped launch my my career as an artist and illustrator. So
They're all
yes, lots of love for the
amazing.
X-Files.
Aren't
Amazing
they?
work.
They're so
Yeah.
good.
Amazing. Well, and I
So
can
creative.
remember each of these episodes. Like
Yeah.
Eugene Victor Toombs on the Squeeze. He was one of the scariest characters.
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
So creepy, dude.
And the X-Files, it's just such a fun show to do this treatment for, because
So cool.
the episodes are all over
So
the
good.
place. Kind of like
Yeah.
Star Trek. Like you've got comedy, you've got drama, you've got horror, you've got all these different here's a good comedy example here. You've got all these different genres that you can play off of, and you can bring different artistic styles to them. So yeah, I have a lot of fun.
Oh my
with these.
gosh, Home was just creepy
Well,
as
One of the guests at the convention
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago was Karen Conoval, who played Mrs. Peacock, the woman under the bed.
What? No way.
so-
That's
She's
really
so
cool.
nice. She's such a sweet lady. And she was fairly young when she played that role. And obviously she had prosthetics on
Mhm.
because her character was not in very good shape. but she went on to play
No.
a number of characters in one of the revival episodes too. So it was really cool that, kind of full circle for her that she had some other X-Files experiences when the show came back.
Mrs. Peacock was a character on the show.
Yeah.
Right? I heard that character changed her name to Peacock because she originally didn't like the name she was born with, which was Pooh Butt. She's like, I don't want to be made fun of by being called Mrs. Pooh Butt, so I'll be called Mrs. Peacock.
Always taking the conversation and elevating it to the next level, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
Is that Anyway, we've scared Andre away. He's gone. We've lost him.
He's
so
like,
Not at all. I think your art's amazing.
She's like-
I just admittedly didn't watch a lot of X-Files. I'm probably like the only sci-fi person that never really watched a lot of it, but I did catch some of the iconic ones. But
there's 220 episodes to catch up on. So if you ever have any spare time, go for it.
Definitely.
wow.
It is very much it's a show of its era, much like a lot of the Trek shows where there's a lot of standout episodes, but they were producing 22, 26 episodes a season. And so sometimes it can be a little hit or miss, but I would say much like Star Trek, even the worst episode of the X-Files is still the X-Files. Just like even the worst episode of Trek is still Trek.
Right. Agreed.
The 10 files. All right. So we got to run, everybody. Before we do, let's talk very quickly about this past week and this upcoming week. So yesterday on the 7th Rule, we released our full review of Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 6, entitled Lost in Translation, right? Was that it?
You got it.
Lost in Translation. We had the director of the episode, the incredible Dan Liu. This was his second Strange New Worlds episode he's directed. He also directed 2 episodes of Picard Season 3. I believe it was episodes 5 and 6 of Season 3. So he's pretty darn good. And he joined us for the review of that episode. And we just destroyed it right in front of him. You're going to love it.
What are you thinking?
Yeah. Then on Sunday, so you can watch that whole thing right now on the 7th Rule YouTube channel. Then on Sunday, let's see, are we on Sunday? Yes. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the wrong day. Okay, so on Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, that's 12 noon Eastern time, we are releasing our first segment review of the Outrageous Okana. That is Next Generation Season 2, Episode 4. We are into the second season, so Sirach Lofton is in love with the Next Generation because he's like, Season 2, give me more, Britney Spears.
Love Season 2. Yep.
and then on Monday, and so that's at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. Do not miss it. We have a huge surprise for you happening then. Oh, also, speaking of surprises, we are going to release later on Sunday a bonus item. We can't say what, but it's going to be a bonus item at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time this Sunday. Do not miss it. You'll probably be able to guess what it is tomorrow. On Saturday, you'll be able to probably guess what it is. But basically on Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, we will release a thing that everybody will love. So definitely check that out. You do not want to miss it. You don't want to be the one person in your group of friends that didn't watch it and they're just like at the water cooler being like, I was sipping my water and you missed the show. Anyway, so that's what people do. So then on Monday, and that's on the 7th Rule YouTube channel, of course. Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time, also on the 7th Rule YouTube channel. We've got our full review of the Next Generation Season 1 special. It's our Next Generation Season 1 review special. We're going to go through all those beautiful episodes with Denise Crosby, looking back at the first time she ever went through and watched her Next Generation episodes. So cool. By the way, JJ, she loves the shit out of your shirt design. Everybody's loving it.
Oh, cool.
So,
that's so great.
Yeah. Yeah, she's loving it.
That's
She's like going to
awesome.
rip off the sleeves and get tattoos.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Then on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time, everybody just come right back here to the Virtual TrekCon YouTube channel. We've got the main viewer. It's our live news show. So we'll catch you up on everything that happened at Comic-Con this crazy weekend, everything to look forward to at Star Trek Las Vegas, all the new strike rules that keep changing or piling on or taken away, all the drama. We're going to fight. You don't want to miss this. That is Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Virtual TrekCon YouTube channel. Then lastly, you can also go back right now. Falling Tower has comedy cartoons. So basically, if you go right now to the Falling Tower YouTube channel, you'll see all of our reviews, our Watch the First reviews. Our most recent one is We Bear Bears on Hulu. Everybody knows that Jurassic Jen calls them the Wee Wee Bears. Myself, Dr. Muhammad Noor, meteorologist Katie Nicolau, and Darth Shuey review the Wee Wee Bears on Hulu. So everybody check that out. And then next week, we'll have a surprise for you on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's that. Look, Andre Kottman, can you tell everybody where they can find you online?
You can find me on the Sci-Fi Dre on Twitter, and also Saxman Dre if you like music stuff and Star Trek too. And then I have an ArtStation, artstation.com/Sci-Fi Dre.
Artstation.com/Sci-Fi Dre.
Yes.
Cool. Great. JJ, what about you? Besides your amazing jjlendl.com website.
And they just keep adding more social media apps, and I just keep having to sign up. I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram, and now I'm on Blue Sky, and I am on Threads at JJ Lendl. That's JJLENDL. It's the word "end" with an L on either side. Is how you spell my last name. So you can find me in all those places.
Awesome. Melissa Longo, what about yourself?
On social media at Melissa Longo, MALISSA. And then I also the Introverted Republic at the Walking Art Made by Melissa page is where you can find some of my original artwork. And then also Walking Art Made by Melissa on Patreon. There is a story going on. Woohoo. I'm writing a story, so yeah.
Cool.
So everybody check that out. You don't want to miss that, believe me. Everybody, you can find me online on Twitter at RyanTGHusk. I'm also on these new social media apps. You can find me at RyanTGHusk on cheapcheap.com, Curdle Tops, Skull and Bones, and Orange. So find me on those.
Can you send me an invite to those? I don't think I've gotten
so many.
Well, Curdle Tops is crazy. I had to get it from it was like some scam thing, but it worked. I got through. I'll get you in.
You had to send a money order to a Nigerian prince?
Yes. And they send you back like a self-addressed envelope, and when you lick it, it tastes like Marmite. But they say that's part of the curdle process in Curdle Tops. I don't know.
Okay.
So
all right, I'll look for that. I'll look for
Thanks.
that in the snail mail. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Delicious
everybody.
Marmite.
So that's at RyanTGHusk on Twitter, or just Virtual TrekCon, Falling Tower, or the Seventh Rule on your favorite social media, including, of course, Curdle Tops. Everybody knows. So that's it. Thanks very much. May Borello, Just Rosie, and Marie Seagull pops in and says she was getting drunk with Marina Kravchuk. I hope that was fun. Mohammed Noor says, yay, wee wee bears. Awesome show. And thank you, Chanel, Dave Gregory, Just Rosie, May Borello, Sci-Fi Guy in the live chat, Glenn Iverson, One Trek fan, Dave Gregory, I already said your name once or twice, Chris Marshall, Chuck A, and everybody, Jenny R. Everybody, it's JennyRJohnson.com. Check it out, JennyRJohnson.com. Super fast. Here it is, JennyRJohnson.com. And here is the art piece we were talking about right here.
It's one of the ones I got.
Beautiful. And this one
But
up here,
look at her-
oh no, that's not the one you were talking about.
No,
but there's another
but
one that's
That's an
amazing.
awesome
Got
piece.
Scully.
Ellen Ripley.
And-
Ooh.
Ooh, Ripley,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but X-Files too.
Yep.
Yes, she's got Mulder and Scully on there.
Yeah. Ooh, Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
And anybody want
The
a peanut?
Rings, Princess Bride, Lost.
Yes. Oh, and Mad Max.
Hey, Nami, this guy. Norm, how would a bear feel? Pretty nervous if I was in the room.
The Goonies. I love the Goonies.
That's great.
All right, let's get out of here. I'm going to start quoting Norm from Cheers.
It's a whole
Hey,
other
Norm, what's up? My nipples. It's freezing out there. That's a real Norm quote. I didn't say that.
God.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time. Hey, man, have a chill weekend. You've earned it. That is what he said.